we'll be doing do a tutorial on how to use Barchart. Really use it to your advantage. Okay, good. Okay, so this is like my strike price sheet. So what I think what people can do is sometimes use your sheet to your advantage, like write notes in it, write comments, color code it. Like typically, if you have something in the green, that means like you're already in this position. If you have something in the yellow, you're looking to get in that position. If you might want to color code it like if it's orange, suspect, but you think you will do a certain sort of trade. Color coded like purple could be something you still need to research, stuff like that. And you have your strike prices already set in there. If you decide to go ahead and make that movement, keep note of institutional ownership, keep comments, the services that they provide, what is their moat added to the list, you know. So moving forward, I think this is very good to use as far as keep creating a master list worksheet of notes. You also put stuff down here for your own advantage, like maybe add a sheet discussing stuff like quantum computing, electric vehicles, institutional ownership notes, you know, as far as like what do the different forms mean, um, stuff about fundamentals, the semiconductor, other resources you can use. So just keep track of all this. Um, watch list notes, stuff that I just find interesting about the market in general. So this is a visualization of like, I think this one is for the S&P. I was trying to see who I think would get removed out the company. And as I saw, I was betting on one of these companies to be removed, um, which I think I was actually wrong about. I don't think any of these were the ones that's being removed. It should be 500. But keep notes, you know, just so you can have stuff down. Keep track of it, so you can write it down, but keep it maybe in an online document as well. So let's go to bar chart real quick. So with Barchart, I have the premium service. I do notice probably a few differences, but I kind of want to go over a few things I know you could do on the regular version for sure. So for instance, if you want to go to tools, go to watch list, and this is really simple. This is just where you add. So I already kind of made it. I did the video a few times, but realized I was missing out on explaining some things. Thanks to other cousins like Trish and Crystal. Want to say in this instance, so what you could do is so the watch list, create a name for it, ask for an email update, email update maybe before or midday or end of the day, market close, you know, save it. And then you just simply add it by just going, typing it and clicking add. Oops. NACL. Wait, what is the? Let's just add a different. Sorry about that. Just if you just want to add any, just type it and click enter, and it's that easy. You download your list too, and they always have a little tutorial next there, just if you didn't know. So tell you how to use certain tools on their site. And this is when you just want to pop up your screen real quick. Chart real quick about it, so you see what's going on and share it. Maybe you want to share to people, share on Twitter. And right here, so here's where you could change the kind of style of the chart. So let's say we just want to get a line chart. Let's say we want to make it bigger. So you will click here, right here, and then you will say, well, that was the largest, extra large or something. change the course here. Change the percent scale to percentage change, like arithmetic. Show events. Now we see it a little darker. And if you want to get more data, you know, pull it up on the screen too, so you can look at it while you're looking at the chart. Here you can click mode, and this changes it from light to dark. So if you want your chart to look cooler, in my opinion, click on that. Here you could make this a default template for your chart. So you could go to like save as template and then just name it, then save it. And then if you want to make it even take up more of the screen, then you click the arrow to the right corner. And now it brings up the screen in a much bigger, from a much bigger perspective. But I'm gonna go to this later, so let's exit for now. So that's how you do set up your watch list. You can also add a portfolio in here and then go to add transaction. Also first name your portfolio, add transaction, and then you would add your positions that you have in your portfolio to it, and it will monitor and check it too and screen for stuff with your portfolio. Now let's go to screener. So stock screener is just if you're trying to screen for stocks in general or set up for your watch list. You could use the screen in a number of different ways. But what you do with the screen is you go to set filters. So click here. So I go to screeners, right? And then what I want to say is what you could do is load a screener. These are the ones you saved screens that you made. But let's say you want to make a new one. So I just want to create a new one. So you could just keep all this the same. You don't really have to change any of these stuff. Unless you need some like penny stocks or something. So over the counter stocks, but you don't really need this. So what you could do is you have filters for your screeners. And what you need to do is decide what kind of filter you want to add. So let's say you want to add a filter for your watch list. You will go to my list and profile, watch list, add, and then you select the watch list that you want it to pay attention to. So we could delete. So let's say we deleted this watch list. And then let's say we wanted to add, let me remove it for now. Say I wanted to add a signal for the Bollinger Band, right? So when it's out or when it's at the top of the when it's getting out of the Bollinger Band, or if it's at the bottom of the Bollinger Band, if it crept out. So in this case, what I'll do is the different ones are in different places. So you see you can add a filter by a lot of different criteria. You can use gaps, range change, support and resistance, new highs and lows, price and volume, prior day prices changes. But if we want to use technical analysis, that would give us, we could look through, it gives us the moving average criteria, average volume, or stochastic with the signals. So you have the K and the D, the true range, the average directional index. We have the relative strength index, historical volatility, the MACD, standard deviation, price volume. If you want the BB, Bollinger Band, you go to opinion indicators, and then this has the moving averages, the MACD escalators. But if you want to do the bands down here, so you can create a band, and then it could be like, okay, do you want to do a signal, the strength, direction? If you made a new signal, so you can use, let's just add this one here. And let's say it's giving us any direction. So in my case, I use the reverse. So if it's a buy signal, to me, that's like sell. And if it's a sell signal, then it's typically, in my opinion, a buy. Because they do it by like how a retail trader, in my opinion, does it. So when you want to sell, you want to sell at the bottom of the band because you're scared about taking loss. But that would be, for us, an opportunity to buy. So I just make a mental note to like, okay, if it tells me sell, that's like looking for a buy opportunity. So this is probably the most important if you're looking to get into a position. So let's click that off. Let's click all of these. And then this is where we can see where we have which ones meet the criteria. So now if you want to save this screener and then have it save it in the report, you click on this, save screener, and then it will save it, then you can make a name for it. So you could go, don't mind this, but you go create your name for it, description of it, how you want it to come to you. So sort by if you got the premier options. So exit out that. So yeah, that's how you can use those criteria for your watch list. And then just in general, I just want to show some other stuff before I get into the options part. But you know, you do have like a dashboard feature of this too, which is if you want a different view of it, just to like it's more like I would say like an app type criteria. This way you can use a lot of different keep the screen big and everything. So this is the dashboard feature. So this is where you click on the dashboard if you want a bigger perception of your bar chart. So I think these is like people's portfolios. Man, people I think this is Van Marine. So the premier portfolio manager. So basically, you look at seeing what they typically are doing. We can view their portfolio. This is like in a premium version, but yeah, we can see what their portfolio looks like. So I want to see here. Yep. All right, let me get out of this real quick though. So let's go to some of the stuff about it. So you look at the news, and what's dope is that you get news by the sector, so you can look at what stuff is going on in other parts of the world, you know. And again, they research from like really some top places. So if you want to just look at the news for all the sectors, go here. Don't sleep on this area. I think this is a lot of good information to like look at, and also you can get like a really good news about other stuff that's going on. So you get like some news about the options. You get some news about cryptocurrency, and in my opinion, I think just learning a little bit about other markets in general will help you create a bigger market awareness, so you have a more perception of everything that's going on, and then you'll realize that stuff you know about in another market can help you to dictate and determine ideas for trades in the stock market. So that's why I like to read about like a lot of stuff that's going on, like just even not just in the U.S., but like what's going on in Korea, what's going on in Asia, what's going on in, of course, African countries, just because it's personal to me, but just to see what's going on. Because if you don't understand, like let's say for example, if you don't know how the financial market is in Africa, it's a lot of digital currency being used at more, in a sense because there's not really a proper banking system for a lot of people. Credit isn't really used in Nigeria, for example. So knowing how Bitcoin and cryptocurrency and the digital wallet, so companies like Square can have an edge because fintech has kind of been already being used in that way for some countries like in Nigeria. So understanding that helps you understand like the potential growth of Square, Cash App, PayPal, from an international perspective as far as users. Let me just go in here. So you click on currencies, go to futures. Let's say you was every morning you want to get up and you just want to see what's going on. So you click on here. Then in a minute, this will pop up with what's going on in the futures market. So you can see what's going on in the time. And then so here, also, so we go to options. Oh, no, actually, let me go to ETFs first. So let's go to ETFs first. And what you could do is you could look at popular ETFs. So you can see the performance of what's happening during that day for the most popular ones. What's been the opinion on them. Of course, you can see our X's, XLs. We can see the opinion on them as well. Special to industries, fixed income, commodity producers, commodities. ETFs are based on all these different market sectors and subsectors. So we could look at all these and just see just a view of what's been on in the last 5 days, last month, and 52 weeks, the percent change. We can see which ones had a percent change as far as performance, as far as advancing, price change. And what's dope is like, let's say we click on the ETF. Now we could look at competitors, and this is how you can find other ETFs in your search, right? You click on it, then you see competitors here on the left side. And then now we can see what are competitors for TAN. And then let's say we want to see about like weighted alpha. So I think this gives you a much better perception of the stocks when you're performance. So we can see that 10 technically has been on the biggest wave, biggest run out of all of them all. Then Q Clean is next, and then Smog is third place. And who hasn't been moving at all is So this is pretty cool to look at this competitors. Then you can look at what are the holdings. So we can see what's the holdings of TAN, the ETF comparison. And you can select the fields by going here and select what fields you want to look at for your comparison. And then show results. So this is where you can add other ETFs. You can do the same thing with stocks too. So if I was to go to stocks, let's do this another way. So I'm gonna go back to constituents. Click on run from here, because let's say I'm looking at this, I'm like, okay, I want to see what's runs at a 5%. I want to see what's the competition. So I want to see what their competitors are for run. Okay, but like this time I want to look at it from a different perspective. So then I go to stock comparison. But let's say I want to add some of them from the previous list. So let's go back to competitors. So I'll keep a note. Like this says, I want to make sure I have Nova on my list, Solar Edge, SunPower, and Enphase. So you just keep them in. You can take a screenshot of that. I'll write it down. Okay, so now I want to add Enphase into there. And I want to add, what's another company that was in there? Azure Power. Okay. Now compare. Click compare symbols. Now I got more. Let's say I want to compare a little bit more information on the key statistics. So I'll go to select fields right here. select fields. Maybe I don't care about none of the technical stuff, so I take this all off. I don't care about the performance of the chart either. I just want to see number of institutional holders, insiders, the growth per year, quarter growth in the year. I don't care about this, I don't care about that. So let's say I care about what's their profit margin, what's the price to earnings growth, price to sales, debt over equity, price to book. Okay. Now let's say I want this to be my picture for how I'm comparing. So now I can see a direct matchup of price to book, price to cash flow, so I can start comparing some of these fundamentals amongst these companies. All right. So from there, we can move on to trader's cheat sheet. Mark's gone over this a few times. So we can see here that if you look at the trader's cheat sheet, you can find the price history from a certain date period and see what's been the lowest and what's been the highest. So we sort of by the lowest. So from the period of September 12th to now, the lowest has been 77. That's for Sunrun. Okay. Okay, I did that wrong. Yeah. So the lowest has actually been at 49. And then the highest has actually been 82. Same thing with the last two. All right. Another thing you could look at too is the performance report. So this is the main page where we get getting the performance for the strike price formula. So just click on performance report or type in the stock, click on performance report. And then here's what you'll get your 6-month performance, your year-to-date performance, your 52-week, 2-year, 3-year, 5-year. And you can look here too and see that it made a new high. How many times, in a certain period? How many new lows it made in a certain period too. Okay. Sorry, I had to go shut the door real quick. So let's go to options real quick. So first off, Rep, you're gonna look at to see some dope stuff in the options. So right here, we can look at unusual options activity and see what stocks, ETFs have some unusual volume. And for instance, so here we can see here that there's just been a lot of volume on the Apple call for 122 strike price expiration date for yesterday, December 11th. We can see that over 127,000 people, 127,000 volume contracts, and the open interest about 11. So we can see that the volume to open interest ratio is just extremely high, which is really good because this means that you have a lot of liquidity in your trade if you was to get in this. But at the same time, it expired on December 11th. We don't do those. So, but let's say I want to see further out expiration date and see what's been the volume, try to catch what's been a large volume for these dates. So I could say, okay, for the 23s, Snap, Microsoft, people been getting puts for some leaps for Snap, Microsoft, NXPI, Some people got Lumina calls for leaps, Apple call for a leap. Well, people believe in AT&T. AT&T just did something, right? They just had a sale, I believe. Didn't somebody bought the Crunchy anime, I believe, or something. Okay, yep. AT&T sells Crunchyroll to Sony. That's what it was. I guess maybe some institutional trades like that. Let's go back. So what we could also do is, let's say we see that this one is in the red, so that means it's a down day. And the cause, this looks pretty cheap. So let's look at what's been the situation with this option price. So what you do is you could go first, you could look at price history. Tifo showed this on his video. So you go to price history, and what you could do is sort this to see what's been the lowest of lows for this contract. So we see that the lowest it's ever been is around 0.93. The highest it's ever been is, wait, let me check real quick. Yep, 237. So if we know it's right now, price right now is 230, then we know we're buying at the high. Just from that. We can see IV is much higher for this one on this date compared to what the IV was on those other dates. So as we have kind of always kind of expressed, you buy when IV is low and sell when IV is higher, right? So from here, we kind of see IV been very, very low for November, early November, late October. And then it really seemed to start picking up until just this week. It jumps from like 0.07 all the way to like 0.56. Just looking at it from the date. Okay, so let's say you want to look at the chart though. Let's say you just somebody who like to compare the option price with the chart. So when it comes to the chart, just a few things. So this is like a template I made for chart analysis, but you can switch it up and change it out. So let's say you no longer want to use these charts. So I can exit here, hit the X here, hit the X here, hit the X here, hit the X here. And let's say the chart itself is just too much going on. So I want to get rid of some of the stuff. So anything that I want to get rid of, just pay attention, but these are off. So get off here, X here, hit the X here, hit the X here. We want to keep the 20 to 50, so I'll get rid of that. And let's say it's not enough action, kind of price action has kind of been like sporadic. So I want to change this to a line chart. Okay. And let's say I don't really want the Bollinger Band on this either, so take this off. And I don't really like the 50 on here either, so take these off too. But let's say I change my mind and I want to add it back. So what you do is you'll go to what is called the study, click on study. And this is where you can find the moving averages, pivot points. You can add pivot points here. So let's say we want to add pivot points. Bam, now we have our pivot points on here. Let's say you want to change something around here, so you could just make something a little bit more uniform. So let's say all the resistance levels are going to be you want it to all be some form of red. Oh no, not red. Let's say you want it to be a form of dark blue. So you make this blue, you can make this blue. And let's say you want to make the pivot point just green. And let's say for everything for support, we make it yellow. Because we already know like all these are support levels. We just know this now this is the first, second, third. And then this is the first, second, third resistance pivot levels. And this is the pivot point. So now that we know this, so then we kind of have our options chart to look at now. Let's say you want to compare it to the price of the stock, right? So let's say you want to do that. So what we do is go to compare up here at the chart, click on compare, click on symbol, but we need a different color because we're already using blue, we're using yellow, we're looking red. So let's make it black. So now we have a way of seeing what the, well, let's say to make it easier, let's just make it a candlestick chart for this one. Oops, wrong one. Here we go to compare, and then you change this here from line to candlestick. Okay, so now we have the option chart in the line, and we have the stock price and candlestick. So now we can do a comparison with seeing what the options chart, how it moves relative to the stock price. So when we see here, we see that when the stock price got very low here around 0.90, about 905, the option contract also decreased to about 0.95. So when the lowest has ever been, remember I said last time with the lowest prices, it was around this time. We can see now here that the option was also very low, and it has increased in price relative to the stock price as well around this level. So it's really cool to have. Let's say you want to just turn up the pivot levels for a second. So what you could do is just go click the eye part. So that just means basically hide it. Okay, so now I just have a cleaner chart with just the options and the stock price. And then say you want to look at this bigger view. You just go here, click the arrow, and now you have a bigger view of it, a more interactive chart. Oh yeah, but it's going to revert to your settings. So so you kind of want to have a default of what you like already. So now let's say we want to do some let's say we need help with understanding what's going on with the chart from the stock price perception. So let's say we want to just actually, I don't think I could do it that way. No, I can't. So, all right. So let's say we want to just create like a support and resistance line. We'll go to tools. So here we can do is with tools is that we can now find, we can put horizontal lines on here, right? So we can make say this is a support level, add another one. So this is like the resistance level, And this is another one. Right. So let's say you want to add a little bit more tools in here. So let's say you want to maybe identify key levels to you. So maybe you say, okay, I've noticed that there's a gap. So you add a box here for the gap. And let's say you want to identify it. Gap. Okay. And then now you can say you have this identified, your chart set up. And let's say we want to say we noticed the time when volatility kind of took off. So let's say we want to identify the date that volatility took off. And we could say that volatility took off like just recently, right? So we could put the date of this date, actually. So now we know that this date is we have the vertical date, the date to identify when volatility kind of like took off. So I think it was like this date. Okay. And then you can also add some more stuff too. So you can add your Fibonacci in here too. So like let's say you want to see what the or you can switch it around to this way actually. Because this will make more so to the high into the lowest area. Another tool you can add here too is trend channel. I don't really use these, but we can move that way. So that's how you set up your trend channel. And another tool you could possibly be using. I'm just trying to think of what other tools people use. Actually, let me get rid of these. So if you want to get rid of all of this that's on your chart, and let's say I kind of identify the areas. I want to get rid of some of the stuff. So let's say you just want to get rid of the tools or the studies. So if you want to get rid of the tools though, so this would be like the text box, your Fibonacci, and your support resistance lines. You would click clear tools. If you want to get rid of the EMAs and stuff, when I was doing the exit, you would do clear studies. If you want to get rid of everything, then you will do clear all. So let's say clear everything real quick. This is my default. I keep forgetting. All right, so let's say I wanted to. So this is your default, then you gotta change your default settings first. Okay, so the option chart, I want it to be I want it to be an area chart now. So now with this being the area chart and this is a candlestick, let's say I wanted to figure out my long position to find out my reward over risk ratio, profit loss, these type of things. So you could put a long position here and say if I got in, let's say I'm right here, but I know my stop loss can be set right here. I'm gonna get in here. So I could do this and set up a target. Man, I'm so used to using trading view that this is just a little bit awkward. So you gotta double click and well, that wouldn't be your target. Real life, your target could have been like here, right? And you're gonna get in, I think I said I was gonna get in like right here. So the target can be, let's say you think it's gonna sell around here. So your stop loss can be like right here. Adjust this a little bit better. Okay. So now we know that the risk to reward ratio here is about 1.73. If I got into a long position here and made my stop loss here and made my target here, right? And then so if I see that I blew out my target, then I can readjust it to my for my stop loss to be a little bit closer. Because remember I entered here, so I move it up here. So this is like my new position. Technically, this would be like my new position because I'm up in my stop loss because I'm in profit now. So I'm just playing with the gains. And then, so that just gives you a better ratio, a look at the ratio now that you're in. Now, from this perspective, you could also add like different ways of calculating too. So you could do your risk to reward entry points and just have it done here by entering what it would be off here. So let us say so you're getting at 1.21. Stop losses 0.90. Target price, let's say you want to do a target price of 3. Number of contracts, 10. So this will calculate right there for you. I think it just froze. Sorry, this work laptop is not the best. Okay, there you go. Oh yeah, I think it did. Let's just exit out here. But I think everybody kind of understood. So that's what you would do is to add your risk to reward ratio for your contracts. So okay, I think that's pretty much everything I could show y'all anyway. I think y'all kind of got everything, so pretty cool. Oh wait, dude, here's one more thing I could show y'all actually. So the thing I want to show y'all is that you could add these to your watch list as well. You could add the option chart chain and add an alert to your watch list. So you can add it to your watch list as well. So you could go add it to your bar chart. And you can set up an alert for it as well for your watch list. That's what I think that's really dope to have as well. Um, in the unusual option activity, so you can see percent change in volatility, change in open interest, and you can also add in, and this is basically shit. Like just to do a quick overview real quick. So let's say you want to do a percent, you want to look for a percent change in volatility or a change in open interest or volume or price history or anything that's happening. You would set screeners for every last one of them. And then what's cool is you could add your watch list to the screener. So that way you can now add a filter, right? You could set a filter for your options. And you could do it by different criteria. So you could add your watch list into there. So you could add a watch list, options found on the watch list, or just add the securities on the watch list to come for what would be the results. So let's just say ticket symbols for now. And then you want to select all of them criteria. Let's say we want to look for anything that's above 200 days to expiration date. No weeklies. We don't care about open interest change right now. We don't want to care about the last trade time. ETFs is we included in it too. No puts. We don't care about the volume for right now. We don't care about open interest. Let's say the only thing we care about for now is no. Let's say volatility change. So what we do is volatility change, anything that's been a percent change greater than 10%. And now you go to click see results. And then now we can see everything that's on our watch list as far as what meets that criteria from our watch list. And what you could do is you could save the screener, add a name for it, add a description for it, and then use this as your default screener, and then have an email automatically generated sent to you to let you know that this has now met the criteria. Send at midday or end of day, and then I'll save it, and that's your screener for options for your watch list. So just to go over that again real quick, you'll go to set filters, figure out the criteria that you want the screener to work for. So you can do it by volatility, you can do it by delta, you can do it by how out of the money it is, which is a really good feature too, because if you're pretty down, if you know the stock is going to go up, then that's a pretty nice way of doing it too as well for out of the money. And you could add some other statistics in here too, is like with financial ratio, technical analysis, prices and volume, price change, percent change. So you can just do anything that has like maybe a price change of like 10%, 20%, 30%. So these are the type of things you can add to your filter. Select the criteria of the filter, add it, see results, and then save that screener, and then send the email for anything that matches your criteria, midday or end of the day. So that's really cool, really dope. If you want to get better with understanding different strategies with options, you click on here. They'll give you some ideas, suggestions, and kind of go through the explanation for it as well. I'm not gonna go over that because y'all don't really need to look at that at the moment. You know, we're just trying to get y'all good enough to understand options in a general broad case and how to use bar chart for your options. And for market awareness and keeping up with the news and seeing what the futures market looks like in the morning. So just want y'all to get familiar with that. I believe that's everything I could show y'all. So hope this was very helpful. Hope y'all got a lot of value out of this. Thanks for watching. Um, have a great time. You know, with this, make this fun. You know, I want y'all to get really good with this and everybody to like ramp up. So, because I'm trying to see who Black Panther is and everything. So, let me know if you have any questions. DM me if you need any of the anything to be clarified on anything. Uh, Actually, somebody did point out something real quick. Let me just go over something. So IVs, so let me just go over something. So this is a very high IV right here. So typically you want to buy IV when it's low, sell IV when it's high. So this is the chart. We can look at options chart. Now comparing it with the actual stock price. As you see, this is a call, stock price fell. You can also use this to also help you determine if you're like where the stock price is relative to the option chart. And if you see that prices decrease and the call decrease, and then you see like, okay, this is very, very much a cheap contract. You can kind of make your decisions from there as well. But also using this as a stock price chart, you know, you can say, okay, this is a good price, not a bad entry. If it goes to zero, I mean, this would need to drop from here to here, which in this case, I mean, these are penny stocks, so I really wouldn't advise it. But from this perspective, if my thought process was here that stock can drop a little bit more, but the price of the value of the option isn't that much of a difference either, it's not a bad idea to still get in that because I mean the price being the difference at this point isn't going to be that dramatic. If you get what I mean. So this is how you can use the stock price with the options chart, using both of the charts to kind of come to a conclusion about the trade. You know, because that's all we're doing is like Mark says it best. You know, this isn't nothing but just choices and choosing one choice or the other. So if you understand the choices that are presented to you and understand the data that's being brought forth to you, then you know how to pick the better choice. And then if you understand why that choice didn't work out in your favor, go back to learn why it didn't work in your favor. Then you know how to move forward to picking the better choice in the future. So just want to make this clear. I hope everybody kind of got understanding of this because it's really, I like to visualize the option chain with the stock price because it gives me a really good idea of, because if my bias is that prices drop from here to here, right? Stock price dropped from here to here. Do I think if I don't have the bias that price is going to come back this far down, then I also know that I'm buying, even though I'm not buying at the absolute low, I'm buying halfway through. But the highest only been is 0.17. I know I'm still getting a good deal regardless. this stock is not this is just an example. Please don't trade this at all. Please don't. I am not a fiduciary advisor. I'm not. This is just for entertainment purposes. I should have started off with that, but I'm just so nonchalant. We just doing it. Yep. So hope this helps. All right. Cool. No, I'm just looking at it. I'm done.
You finished your video.
I got I need a few more right there. Who? What? Like a little hero, you look like a mama. Mamacita. You know what's funny is that I didn't. Wow, I was supposed to stop. I thought I stopped recording.
Hey y'all.